When you use Tradiance Classifier to automatically classify a product, Tradiance maintains a legal defense for all of your classifications. If you manually classify a product, you must maintain your own legal defense to demonstrate to customs the logic behind your classification. Let's take a look at how we can do that using Tradiance. In this example, we've manually classified these land sets and want to be able to track our legal defense behind the classification. The document part option allows us to store not only the HTS code, but the entire legal defense that we use to come up with that classification. The part number is the unique identifier for this product. The company description is whatever description you would use internally for the product, and this is kept separate from the invoice description, which is the description that would be used for customs. Finally, you enter the HTS code, which is then validated to ensure that it's a valid HTS code. The product marketing family is optional and can be used to help you group your products. The legal defense is based upon the Master's Method Defender tool. First, select if any early triggers apply. These can be sets, parts, or incomplete goods. Underneath each of these options are sub-options to define exactly which type of early trigger applied. In this case, I'm dealing with a finished good, so I'll just select finished good to signify that there are no early triggers. If this was a simple classification, I could select simple, save the part, and then I would be done. In this case, it's a complex classification, so I need to add the legal citations I used to determine the classification. I can choose from the list of available legal resources that can be used to defend the classification. In this case, the first thing I relied on was a cross-ruling. I then show how relevant this citation was to my classification. This allows me to put a confidence level upon how much this really influenced my decision. I then enter the date for the legal citation, as well as the ID that I can use to track the citation. Since this is a cross-ruling, I enter the ruling number. If I have a link to the citation, I can include that as well. Finally, in the notes field, I enter the part of the ruling that is relevant for the classification that I just completed, and then save this legal citation. If you have additional legal references that you use during this classification, enter a new legal citation for each reference. This will allow you to track all of your legal references in one location. Finally, choose your confidence level in this classification, gray or not gray, and save the record. You now have a complete audit trail for your product. You know who did the classification, when the classification was done, as well as how it was done, including all the legal resources that were used during the classification process. Let's now take a look at how we can apply this process when we import the same type of product over and over again. This is done using a known classification. A known classification allows you to define the legal defense once and have it applied to each part number that you enter into Tradiance Classifier. First, enter the name for this known classification and enter the HTS code and invoice description as you would with a normal classification that you were defining. Next, fill out the legal backing just like you would for any single part. Select any early triggers that apply, the complexity, and enter any legal references that you use for this classification. When you save this known classification, it will be added to your list of available known classifications that you can select when you start a new classification. Now, when I document a new part, I can select from the list of known classifications. I enter the part number, but the HTS code and invoice description have already been filled out and cannot be edited. These are pulled directly from the information that I entered earlier. When I save the part, all my legal backing is copied over and included with this part record. This is very useful when I bring in the same type of part over and over again, but each has a different part number requiring its own classification and its own legal defense. Classification Master is another way that Tradiance helps you manage your compliance data, making sure you are always audit ready. If you'd like more information about Classification Master or any other Tradiance product, please contact us at info@tradiance.net.